Brooks Show, an Oregon Sports Network production.
Hi, everybody. I'm Todd McKim, and welcome to the show. We'll take a look back at the victory over the Iowa Hawkeyes, preview what is in store next for the Ducks as they begin play in the conference at USC, and also have a couple of special features for you as well. Big week for you and your coaching staff and players. It was a difficult week, but you guys really came out strong against Iowa, scored early, had the lead. Iowa came back, got the lead briefly, but the big second quarter, and you put it away in the third quarter.
Well, I'll tell you, we're very, very happy for our players, Todd. They worked extremely hard last week in practice. We had the best week of practice we've had all year, and it paid off. You know, the old axiom, you play like you practice, and we were more attentive on taking care of details in practice, and we minimized our mistakes and capitalized and created mistakes for Iowa, and that was the difference in the football game.
Yeah, you look at this game and compared to games in the past couple of weeks, only had 3 penalties, didn't have any turnovers, forced 4 turnovers, and I thought the big thing on those forced turnovers is that you were able to capitalize with touchdowns, put the ball in the end zone, and that made the difference.
Well, there's no question being able to take advantage of the field position, that not only turnovers, but some plays in the kicking game and Iowa's mistakes and penalties, taking advantage of the field position early on in the first half was the key to the victory.
That and the running game. The big guys up front opened the holes. Your tailbacks, even Malapai ran hard from the fullback position, but Dino Filia and Ricky Whittle combined 5 touchdowns, 4 rushing.
Well, I'm very impressed with the work of our offensive line, and I've got to credit our offensive staff for putting together a good plan that we adjusted at halftime after doing some things in the first half. I thought you should notice anyway, we came out in the second half and attacked the weak side with power runs and a little bit more with the option and broke it up. And then when they started to stop the option outside, we handed it off to the fullback inside. I thought it was just a real good job of calling plays, mixing it up, keeping Iowa off balance. And from the defensive standpoint, the same thing. I thought the defensive staff did a very good job of mixing up what we were doing between man and zone. And even though we gave up some big plays, we held them under their average. They're a fine offensive football team. And we did take the ball away 4 times, and I think we did a real good job in 3rd and 4th down situations.
An area of concern a week ago. Let's go back to those turnovers, though, Coach. Last year, your team created, forced, however you want to phrase it, 17 turnovers for the year. This year, after 4 games, 16 already. What's the difference?
Well, the difference is we're paying a lot more attention to it. We've got players buying into what we're trying to do in practice. We worked all spring on it. We worked all early season. And now they're being rewarded by the drills and the things we've done. I think Steve Hillier told me this morning that we're tied for first in takeaways in the nation, 16, and I think we're tied for first or lead the nation in interceptions with 9. It didn't happen by accident. The coaching staff on defense has worked very, very hard at it, and the players have worked very, very hard at it. And it is the difference, certainly in the Iowa victory, and it was the difference early on in the Portland State win as well. The 2 games that we've lost, we took it away a few times, but we gave it away too many.
All right, let's take a look at the highlights, and of course later on in the show we'll take a look at USC, the next opponent. As you see, a great day for football out at Autzen Stadium. A couple of pretty good game captains, alumni captains there. Wouldn't be bad to suit them up, Bob Newland and Mel Renfro.
I talked to him coming off the field and told him I needed to suit him up, and Mel said, "Oh no, you're not going to get me." Nice play there by Curtis Moore, making the tackle on the 19-yard line.
So big play right off the get-go. Driscoll back to pass. The ball is tipped, deflected, and Alex Molden with his first interception of the year.
Alex Molden gets the interception off of a great play by Jeremy Asher. You can see the coverage is there. They do a great job of holding and protecting their quarterback. The quarterback keeps retreating. He throws, but Asher, watch him hit the receiver, causing the ball to bounce up in the air. And because everybody's breaking on the ball, Alex is there to make the play and the interception.
That's a good point, because 2 of the interceptions were off deflections where your people had to react.
Come open up with a tight end screen to Josh. Got to work a little bit on his running. You know, he's just kind of plowing it up in there. We got to get a little more finesse in his running, but we sprint to the field, set up a tight end screen back to the weak side, and Josh takes it up the field for a first down.
That is a gain of 11, and the Ducks have the football at the Iowa 12. After a 2-yard gain on first down, this is 2nd and 8. Patrick Johnson getting his first career start with the reception. And then Ricky Whittle.
Great effort by Ricky, playing with a hamstring problem and a thumb that's been operated on that's in a cast. We get a good block right out in front by Pulu, and he extends the ball out over the goal line for the touchdown.
Ricky missed last week's game, so on his first carry of this game, he has a touchdown. The point after by Belden is good, and Oregon leads 7-0, a minute and a half gone in this game.
Impressive tackle on this one by Lamont Woods. We have made significant improvement in our kickoff coverage. The leverage and stuff isn't there all the time, but you see good job by Kenny Wheaton turning it in, and Lamont Woods. That's what you call a face-up tackle, big time.
He had a big game in this one. Iowa likes to run the football, and even though they ran for 160-some yards, they had to do it on 40-plus carries.
They ran the ball well on us. Their backs broke a lot of tackles. Nice play here by Chad Cota, coming through, defeating the block at the line of scrimmage and making the tackle for a loss. Rich Rule had made a play earlier on our right side. Now Cota comes back and makes one on our left side. We had quite a few tackles for loss, even though we never did get to the quarterback, and he remains unsacked on the season. You can see he throws this one away. Good pressure by Jeremy Asher on the blitz.
You get it back, unable to move it. Iowa gets the ball back and mounts one of its few drives of the day.
Big play against the two deep there, and a misjudgment there by Cota going for the interception, and their big tight end makes a second big reception in a row on this drive. He's a fine, fine football player, and Iowa takes it in for the score.
But then a big play coming up here, and your team has had a great ability this year to block extra points.
Well, this one disappointed me because I really believed we were going to pick it up and go, and Cota got too anxious, fumbled and stumbled, and the ball went out of bounds, because we can score 2 points if we advance that to the goal line. And here comes a big play after failed to move it. And you'll see 2 clips. One right, well, it's pretty hard to see. Jeremy Asher got clipped blatantly in the back right at the point of attack, and they take the play. Now they get penalized for that, and apparently one of the officials got hurt running into somebody on their sideline. So there were 2 15-yard penalties. We come right back and block another one. Salila breaks through the middle again, blocking that one after a 15-yard penalty. You can see Salila come right up the middle as he did on the last one. The lane is created by Troy Bailey taking the guard and stuffing him back, and Salila makes a good arm over move on the center, getting into the backfield to block his second extra point.
So you see Iowa has the lead, but they've missed 2-point afters.
And we give it to big Desmond Bird.
He's your new fullback.
He's the new fullback. He'd like to be, but he's going to have to run a little better than that, I think.
But it gives you great field position because of the penalty. They had to kick off from the 20, I believe.
It really did. Now we come back with a screen pass to Dino. And unlike a week ago when we didn't get some open field blocks, we took advantage of the screens that we did run. You can see on the replay here, Dino sets up inside to the right, slips back out to the left. You get a peel back block there by Willie Reif. Another attempt, I couldn't see the number of that player, and Dino takes it up the sideline for a big gain deep into Iowa territory.
The ball's at the Iowa 14 near the end of the first half here. Hawkeyes jump off sides, but the Ducks go ahead with the play, and Philly almost gets the first down, stepped out of bounds prior to the first down. And then on 3rd and 1, Malapai gets the first down. And that is the final play that we see in the first quarter. Iowa is leading at 12-7, but that will be their final lead of the afternoon. When we come back, the Ducks have the ball and put it in the end zone.
Which
What's your favorite band?
Stone Temple Pilots.
Who's your favorite singer?
Would you believe Sir Mix-a-Lot?
What's your favorite food?
Would you believe buffalo kebabs in peanut sauce?
This is going to be an interesting show.
This season, catch Husky Preview with Jim Lambright, Fridays at 9 Pacific, only on PSN.
Have you heard the latest Meat Puppet CD?
The World Cup may be over, but the action is just heating up. The shots, the tackles, the dives, the saves. From the U.S. leagues to the international leagues, all the angles from the outside and inside. The world's most popular game is a kick on PSN.
From now until November 5th, Bacon Bowl representatives will be calling your home
or business. They ask you to donate and support ticket sales to this year's Bacon Bowl.
The 1994 Bacon Bowl, November 5th in the Kingdom. It's more than a game. It's for children's charity, and everyone wins.
Tonight, Fridays mean football on PSN. Join the men who lead the 94 campaigns of your favorite Big Sky and Northwest Pac-10 teams on the PSN Coaches Block. Then at 9, travel down under for a PSN exclusive. The Australian Rules Grand Final live from Melbourne. Football from home and abroad is here tonight on PSN.
As we get back into the highlights, Iowa leads at the end of the first quarter, 12-7, but the Ducks knocking on the old goal line. In fact, they will score on the next play that we see. Danny O'Neill roll a little bit to the right and then throw back to Blake Spence, getting his first career touchdown.
Little deception there, sprinted to the right, two tight ends lined up on the left. Josh goes up and inside, and Blake comes up and outside, and O'Neill throws back to Blake Spence, a redshirt freshman from Capistrano Valley, and he gets his first collegiate touchdown.
So you go for two since you're only up by one, and the two-point conversion attempt is no good. But you have the lead, 13-12. A couple of seconds into the second quarter. Almost a big play here by Jeff Sherman.
It's one the Cass couldn't catch. He got another pick as he dove for it later in the game, but nice job there by Coda, taking on the lead block, spinning back inside. Watch it from ground level. He's going to take on the block of Cale, their big fullback, dump him, spin back in, slow up the back enough to allow Bryant Jackson to get there for the tackle.
So they got to boot it away. Great chance to get good field position. Herman O'Berry. Great return on the punt here. 30 yards.
Great job by Herman, and giving us another excellent field position by a big play in the kicking game. We're going to miss Herman's ability to get a face mask penalty on the return. You'll see it here in a second.
It was right at the point of attack.
Right there,
Isaac
point of
Walker
attack.
got face mask. Everybody thought it was holding. That's what you usually see, but you get a good break there. Nice return. Sets you up in good position.
Go to the option to the weak side, take it down to the 1 yard line, and take it in over big old Steve Harden, our halftime guest last week, and he takes it in for the touchdown.
So you see Whittle going in for his second touchdown of the afternoon, and Oregon extends its lead. Now you go for the 1 point, and it's 20-12. Early in the second quarter. Defense gets it right back. The fumble by Iowa. Rich Rule recovers.
Good job here at the point of attack. We make contact as the ball is being handed off. I believe that's Bryant Jackson that made the hit. Rich Rule made the recovery. Nice run here by Dino Filiaw. Keeps his legs going, twisting and turning. Picks up the first down. See it on the low replay. Running a little counter play up inside. And Dino hurdles one ball carrier, spins out of some tackles. It's nice to see us break some tackles as well, because Iowa sure did against us.
A gain of 15 for Dino. 1st and 10 from the Iowa 22. There's 5 more.
And the sweep to the left. Now we come back with the sprint out. Danny decides to keep it himself for the 1st down.
So a gain of 6 on 3rd and 8. Ricky Whittle busts through the middle, dives into the end zone, his 3rd touchdown of the half, and Oregon leads 26-12. That is our play of the day.
Well, it's a normal draw play here. We actually could have gotten a 1st down even prior to the touchdown if we'd have made it down to the 1-yard line, but in a spread formation, they expected us to throw, obviously. Our line did a nice job at the point of attack. O'Neal drops back, puts the ball in Ricky's stomach, and he finds daylight over here, and as he makes a cut back, he has to break a couple of tackles and extend the ball into the goal line right in here, which he did on one of his other touchdowns, his 1st one. The draw play, and it worked very, very well.
So let's look at it again.
You can see the handoff, nice big hole initially, and then boom, he breaks 1 tackle and extends the ball out. You have to keep defenses off balance, and certainly that draw play did that.
Indeed it did, gave you the extra touchdown. With 7.5 to go in the half, the Ducks extend their lead. It's 27-12. Defense stops Cedric Shaw right there, gain of only 1.
Watch Cota again take the fullback, almost makes the tackle where the fullback takes him back. A little slow on our pursuit angles here, but we still hold him to a yard gain off of the sweep action.
The Ducks give up a 1st down, then Driscoll comes back, completes another pass for 1st down to their big fullback. Another 3rd and 7 play here as they try to get some points on the board before the end of the half. Isaac Walker on the tackle. And a big series here.
Nice play there by Troy Bailey, who was leading our team in tackles for losses, and gets another one. You can see him come in and get the fullback, trying to run the trap, but Troy gets there before the hole could possibly open. Now they go with a play-action pass under heavy, heavy pressure. He throws it away.
That was a 4th down play as well, and so the Ducks keep the Hawkeyes off the board at the end of the half and go into the halftime locker room leading 27-12. When we come back, we'll have the 3rd quarter highlights, so stay with us.
Your sports are always in season on Prime Sports Northwest. From soccer to volleyball, track and field to tennis, from one season to the next, your teams come to play on Prime Sports Northwest. Men's soccer takes the field as Washington meets Old Dominion, Monday at 4 Pacific. Your sports are always in season on Prime Sports Northwest. From soccer to volleyball, track and field to tennis, from one season to the next, your teams come to play on Prime Sports Northwest. The University of the Pacific faces Washington State in women's soccer, Monday at 6 Pacific.
For the record, we never broke up. We just took a 14-year vacation.
Some old friends are getting together.
Welcome to the Hotel California
for a memorable concert event.
Life in the fast lane, show you make you lose your mind. Life in the fast lane.
Vacation's over. Plug in.
Aloha
from Vancouver Ford and the Beach Party, we've got huge discounts like 1994 Ford Taurus GL starting at $12,988. Huge factory rebates up to $2,000. Over $3 million in used vehicles and the largest discounts ever on used cars, trucks, and vans. Plus, buy a car and receive 4 days, 3 nights accommodations in Hawaii. It's fun in the sun savings at the Beach Party. Beat excessive auto costs here. The Beach Party at Vancouver Ford. Did you knock that off?
Toss of the coin and deferred until the second half, and so they will get the football when we begin action in the third quarter. And it is a good start to the third quarter for Oregon, and it starts with a nice kickoff return to that true freshman, Patrick Johnson.
Should have got the wedge moving just a little quicker here. He has to slow up a little bit, but he hit it right up in there. A little different than that first one he had over in Hawaii. And we come right out and see Ricky limping on that bad leg of his, but picks up 25 yards around the left side. Play we hadn't run hardly at all in the first half. We come right back into it, get a good block by Pulu Malapiai, so Ricky can turn the corner, and you can see him limping on that leg, but the tough guy that he is, he's hanging in there and doing a good job.
Limping on the leg, and that, until this point, the longest rushing play of the year. So Ricky can get it done even if he's only 95%.
Come back with the same play. Basically, we ran to the left, we run it to the right, and this time Dino picks up, I think, a 25-yard gain to match Ricky's. So there's a little competition going on for the longest run. It's a nice job again at the point of attack on the right side by Steve Harden, and a good block again by the fullback.
The ball is now at the Iowa 11.
And now we let the fullback carry it once in a while after getting all those good blocks, see?
And then on 3rd and 5, a little screen to Dino. That was a nice catch in traffic and into the end zone for the touchdown.
The other thing you see here, you're going to see big toss in Malapiai, 340 plus. Pull out, you can see 73 right out in front of Dino, and he engulfs the corner and bounces him out and allows Dino to get into the end zone.
So from 5 yards out, the point after now is good, and it is 34-12 on the first drive of the second half.
It's a great way to start the third quarter. Obviously, came right out, and now we give up an easy one. They get a big gain there. We miss a tackle. Alex does a nice job knocking the ball out, but unfortunately it goes right out of bounds. So they come right back and get the touchdown that we worked so hard to get. They get it in about 4 plays.
So the drive, 67 yards, and then the 2-point conversion, no good. And that's big because it's still a 16-point lead. That means they need 3 scores to take the lead.
Back to the screen pass to Wilcox again. Again, pretty good running room in there, but gets tripped up at the ankles. Come back with the option to Whittle. Good straight arm, which he's so good at delivering. He was actually carrying the ball in his protected hand there, which is a little scary. Nice job by Damon Griffin. His first catch, true freshman, comes across on the slant route. This is a big first down reception. And he's so upset because he knows he stumbles out of there. It's man coverage, he stumbles and falls. He's got a big gain ahead of him if he could only have kept his feet.
But he did get the first down. That was important at this time. And then Ricky Whittle doing a little dancing. Didn't look like the hamstring hurt him there.
Looked like the 2-step shuffle, hopping up over the pile. And again, we hit it up into Malapiai. Again to Malapiai. The inside play on the option, and big hole. He picks up 9 yards. We catch him off sides, but we continue to run the play. And Dino Filia takes it down to the 2 or 1.5 yard line. You can see the offsides here, but our players continue to play, and we refuse this penalty and take the play instead. And we get the pitch out to Dino. Good job by Dameron Ricketts out there blocking at the wide receiver position.
So the ball is just outside the 1 yard line. On the next play, it's Filia. Whittle had 3 touchdowns, so now Dino gets his second.
And a good job by Eric Reed pulling out here, leading into the end zone. Could have taken that inside or outside. There was a hole either place.
Now you decide to go for 2, leading by 40-18, and again, no good.
Suspiciously like pass interference, Todd. Suspiciously.
So there you see the score. Now Iowa gets it back, and they scare you again because they come right back down the field.
Well, they They had one route we had a little difficult time covering. We finally got a little bit better coverage, but we had to revert to man-to-man. They come back and hit this thing 2 plays in a row on us in zone, and then we played a lot of man the rest of the game to shut it off. Nice job there by Herman. That's where Herman O'Berry gets hurt. He came down on his left leg, hyperextended it, and partially tore, we hope only partially, the posterior cruciate ligament in his left knee. Now they run the option, but we're out there to defend it. Reggie Jordan coming from clear off the backside. Good pressure on the quarterback. Good coverage by Lamont Woods.
And that ends the quarter. That was a 4th down play there. So Oregon holds, and into the 4th quarter we go. The Ducks with a big lead, 22 points.
Saturday nights on Prime Sports Northwest. Catch the Washington State Cougars as they hunt the pack through same-day coverage of every game this season on PSN. The Cougs meet the Tennessee Volunteers tomorrow at 10:30 Pacific.
From Chamberlain to Bird, Julius to Jordan, the games that took your breath away, the players who made you believe.
The Suns take on the Warriors Tuesday at 10 Pacific. Sunday nights are for dog lovers on Prime Sports Northwest. The Washington Huskies play every game of the season on PSN. The Huskies face the UCLA Bruins Sunday at 8 Pacific.
Grab the bladder and give it a ball burster. And don't ask about your father or you'll end up in a biffo. But watch out, the white maggot won't save you from a coat hanger, huh? Just watch Australian Rules football.
PSN presents the Australian Rules Grand Final live tonight at 9 Pacific. The Cougs beat the Tennessee Volunteers tomorrow at 10:30 Pacific. The Beavers are a blast on Prime Sports Northwest. The Oregon State Beavers ignite Pac-10 action with every play of every game on Prime Sports Northwest. You can be sure when the big bang hits the Pac-10, the Corvallis contingent is cooking on PSN. The Beavers face the Desert Swarm of Arizona tomorrow live at 7 Pacific.
We go into the final period, Oregon leading 42-18 and taking control of this ball game in the 3rd quarter and put it away with a lot of defense here in the 4th quarter. You can see right off the bat on the first play, Bryant Jackson, a loss of 2.
Bryant's foot, he's been bothered by a bruised foot, but he's starting to get a little bit more active on that foot, and he makes a tackle for a loss. Nice job by Bryant Jackson.
2nd down and 12. Good play out here, open field tackle by Lamont Woods.
Nice play. Lamont played extremely well, and we're going to need him to step up, obviously. Here goes Marcel Stewart on the draw play. Picks up a 1st down. Come right back to Pulo, and he picks up another 1st down. See the nice trap block inside. Bob Baldwin gets the trap. Steve Harden's on the middle linebacker. And Malapai hits it up in there for a big gain.
Drive stalls. Iowa gets it back. Good coverage over there by Woods again. 3rd and 10 play here. And Jeremy Asher gets the deflection.
Gets the tip, deflected it just enough to make it remain incomplete. Now here's Patrick Johnson on his first collegiate punt return. Fairly impressive. Wow. Breaks 3 tackles and picks up 17 yards before being rudely knocked out of bounds. Watch this though. Shakes 2 tackles there, takes a good shot right here, boom, spins out of it, showing his old running back days from high school at Redlands. And we get a good block out here by Chad Williams, and bingo, 17-yard return on his first effort.
That was the punter that knocked him out of bounds. Iowa gets it back, trying to get one last score here, but nothing doing.
Sure tackle by Lamont Woods. Another tackle for a loss. They're running the option this time. They make the pitch. You can see we cancel the dive, and Lamont comes up, defeats his block, makes the good, sure tackle, grabbing both legs.
After an Iowa timeout, it's 2nd down and 12. Not sure who this one was thrown to, but Jeff Sherman got the interception, his 2nd of the year.
Now you can understand why Iowa quarterbacks have never been sacked. Kenny Wheaton comes on a real hot blitz. He just throws it up for true grabs, and Jeff Sherman gets the interception, 2 with a cast on. He's about to get out of that cast too, I think. So
that's good.
Maybe we'll add a bunch more to that. And A.J. Jelks, Aaron Jelks, a true freshman linebacker from C.K. McClatchy High School in Sacramento, gets the tipped ball here for the interception. Again, we get pretty good pressure. We're taking the guys back. The ball bounces off, and Jelks breaks on it and gets the interception, our 9th on the year. His first. He took the ball, by the way, to the locker room.
Oh, he did. So we're down a ball this next week. You see the final score, 40-18. Hopefully he'll have a closet full of those when his career is over. Let's take a look at the statistics. You see Iowa is going to have the advantage in the first page, first downs. They don't in rushing, as Oregon ran the ball very well, almost 200 yards of net rushing there. Passing, you can see Iowa with a big advantage there. They had to come from behind. And in total offense, they have the advantage as well. But here on this next page is where things really change. Turnovers, 4 to none. First time you haven't had a turnover in a game in, 2 years, I believe. Yeah. Penalties, the last 2 weeks you've done much better in that department. Excellent 3rd down conversion percentage of over 50%. And you see the punting, 7 for almost 38 yards a boot by Matt Belden. Individually, we start with the tailbacks. Good production by both Dino Filiaw and Ricky Whittle. Both of those guys finding the end zone. Whittle 3 times. That's 1 more than he had in his entire career up until this week's game. Passing, Danny O'Neill didn't have his best day. Maybe we should explain that Danny was in the hospital the night before, had an infection in his ring finger on the passing hand, but he didn't have to throw it much as well, and that was a good sign. 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. And tackles for the 2nd straight week. Jeff Sherman leading the way. Last week he had 17. This week, 12 plus the INT. Well, after the game, we talked to the players and got their reaction.
We really needed it. You know, our confidence was down a little bit. We all knew we still had, you know, we got a good team and everything. But when you lose, if we would have lost 3 in a row, that really would have hurt us. And now we got things going in the Pac-10s. We got our confidence back, and I think we'll do fine.
We haven't given up on ourselves. We just try to improve on the mistakes we made in Hawaii and the mistakes we made at Utah, and it's coming together finally. It's coming together.
You have a team like the Big Ten. They're known for their running, their power running and smash mouth football. And today we Pac-10 played a little smash mouth football. We ran the ball a lot, and we ran the ball pretty well. All Coach been stressing to us lately is breaking tackles. Running hard and breaking tackles, and the big plays are going to happen. And as long as you run hard and break tackles, good things are going to happen.
After this big win against Iowa, I think we got some confidence maybe going into USC, which will help out a lot. And hopefully we'll prepare hard like we did last week and come out with the same vengeance that we did this week.
We shut out everything except our team. We knew that we play as a team, and the only people playing on that field are the people in this program, and that any outside influence of the program was not going to, get in our heads, wasn't going to get in amongst each other. How's the offense doing? How's the defense doing? How's Danny doing? And everybody just tuned it out, and we knew what we're all about. We've been together for about a month and a half now in fall camp, and I think we know each other and each other's character, and I don't think there's any doubt in this team's mind.
So that concludes the non-conference portion of the schedule at 2-2. Now it's all Pac-10 games from here on out. We'll start with USC. The Trojans, we'll talk about them a little bit later in the program, but when we come back, we will hear more on Danny O'Neill, the senior quarterback, who has done a great job over the last couple of years on his way to setting some all-time Oregon records, has many already. We'll do that when we come back. Welcome back to the show, everybody. It's time to introduce you to a young man that's been in the program a long time, has done a wonderful job of throwing the football, guiding the team over the last 3+ seasons. We get more on Danny O'Neil, the senior quarterback, from our Pat McGilvery.
As Danny O'Neil goes, so goes Oregon. It's been that way for 4 years. He's set school passing records and guided the Ducks to a bowl appearance. Oregon's clearly at its best when O'Neil's playing well. Along the way, he's also struggled through some low points. But win or lose, after every game, O'Neil stands up to another blitz from the media, sharing the glory in victory and taking the blame in defeat.
For me, that's how I want it to be. I don't want people trying to blame the receiver, trying to blame the offensive line. In essence, I feel like I'm the leader. It's my offense. I'd rather just take the responsibility.
O'Neil attributes his resilience to his Christian faith. He's part of a weekly team Bible study and gathers members of both squads at midfield for a post-game prayer every week.
Father, once again, we thank you for this opportunity, Lord.
A Christian lifestyle and a locker room environment can pull O'Neil in different directions.
How I take that environment and how it affects me is up to me. And I think it is difficult, and it does kind of wear and tear a little bit maybe on my relationship with God, but it's it all ends up being a positive because of the influence that God's given me through football.
He's shown another side of himself recently, running the ball more and even becoming a receiver last week.
And I knew Kristen was coming to me because I knew they'd cover that pass when they already got beat on it. So that ball came in the air, and I was just hoping to catch it. And that's about all I was thinking, just catch it. But it was a lot of fun having Kristen throw me the ball after, obviously throwing to him a lot of times.
In his final season, O'Neil's within reach of the school's all-time passing record. Instead, he found himself trying to do too much and, in turn, not doing well enough. He says that's about to change.
That's kind of my main goal right now, is just understand I need to pick up my performance. I don't care what's going on around me. I don't care, how other people are performing or how the defense is doing, how the coaches are coaching. I just need to be concerned with myself, and not in a selfish aspect, but understand I can't look towards other people to find fault, but I've got to look to myself and see how I can be better.
Danny O'Neil is not the straw that stirs the Ducks' drink, but he can determine if the taste will be sweet. For the Rich Brooks Show, I'm Pat McGilvery.
It was probably nice to see for a couple of different reasons, Danny not having his best game, but yet your team still coming away with 40 points. That's really impressive.
Well, I think it speaks to the ability of eliminating bad plays from your offense. I think Danny was sacked maybe 2 times, but other times when he didn't have anywhere to go with the ball, he threw it away. He pulled it down and ran for positive yards other times, and he threw 2 touchdown passes, no interceptions. I'd say he had a pretty darn good day of directing a very good offensive performance. We didn't get the points from the kicking game. We didn't get a defensive score. A lot of them were set up with a short side of the field, but we took advantage of that, and that's what an offense is supposed to do.
But in years past, it has been Danny, it seems, as Pat mentioned in the piece. As Danny goes, so has the team. I know you would like to see Danny continue at the pace that he had in years past, but have everybody else step up a notch.
I think you're going to see that come together in the next several weeks. I think you'll see our passing game be as proficient as it has been in the past, with a more substantial running game. That is the key thing for us, that we have to run the ball more effectively, consistently, and do a good job throwing the football. And I think you're going to start seeing that come together now.
Tell us about the expectations on Danny, because the legacy of Bill Musgrave was great and still is and always probably will be. And in his first 2 games as a redshirt freshman, Danny O'Neil came in and I believe threw 6 touchdown passes, including 4 in one game. It looked like he was going to be, undefeated for forever. And then reality set in against Utah, and then later he got hurt. Tell us about his development over the years.
Well, I think you've seen the maturity of a quarterback. He obviously has talent. He can throw the ball. He can scramble. There are some times when he's a little hesitant maybe to throw it down the field and make the bad play, and other times when he'll take that risk. What we have to do is have the offense functioning well around him so that he has the confidence that all parts are functioning and that he doesn't have to do it alone. And I think that's one of the things that this game ought to bring out, is that our running game can be successful, and we won't run it that well against maybe some other teams we're going to play in the next week or so, but The key thing is that we can run the ball and hurt people in more ways than just having Danny drop back and throw it all over the field.
Well, hopefully Danny will get that all-time passing record, and he's not that far away from the all-time touchdown record as well as he closes in on that mark. When we come back, we'll take a look at a guy that used to play for the Ducks on the other side of the ball and was just as impacting of a player, Marcus Woods.
Tomorrow, PSN serves up 13 consecutive hours of live and exclusive sports excitement. The SEC kicks it all off with a live clash between South Carolina and LSU at 9:30 a.m. Then, the Maryland Millions on the line as the nation's best thoroughbreds are called to the post live at 1. At 3, College Football Today tracks the day's action and previews our live Pac-10 showdowns. Then it's Oregon and Oregon State back-to-back as the Ducks take the quack attack to the Trojans at 3:30, followed by a desert storm as the Beavers challenge the Wildcats at 7. Then the Cougars corner the Volunteers in a same-day delay with every play at 10:30. October kicks off with 13 hours live, capped by the Cougs tomorrow, only on PSN.
Did you know you could be paying hundreds of dollars too much each year for your life insurance? Well, it won't cost you a cent to find out. That's because a company called Select Quote Insurance Services continually compares the cost of term life policies from the nation's top-rated insurance companies. For example, if you're a man 35 years old and a non-smoker, you can get $150,000 coverage for just $165. If you're 45, you can get $250,000 coverage for just $260. Call now and Select Quote will mail to you absolutely free a personalized price comparison of the 5 lowest quotes to study in the privacy of your own home. Remember, these are unbiased quotes from companies aggressively bidding for your business. There's no obligation whatsoever for the price comparison, and it's free. Get the most life insurance for the least amount of money, period. Call Select Quote now and see how much you can really save.
For Select Quote's free comparison service, call 1-800-253-4477. That's 1-800-253-4477.
During the show that we take a look back and see what a former Duck is doing nowadays after his playing days are over. Walt Fox gives us a little more insight as to the post-playing career, at least temporarily, of Marcus Woods.
Marcus Woods did a lot during his 4 years at Oregon, but he's best remembered for this play. A belly-bump sack of quarterback Ty Detmer in the Ducks' big win over BYU.
He's a good scrambler, and I just got lucky and kept in my pass rush lanes, and I came up on him and smacked him. Everyone says that it was a belly bump, but if you look at it, I hit him with my forearm.
Red 19, go! Woods had a brief shot at the NFL, but now is back in Eugene working as a youth counselor and helping coach the linemen at Marist High School. He's hard to miss out on the field, and he has no trouble getting the players' attention. But he's found that coaching is harder than he thought it would be.
Well, the hardest part was wanting to play. It's wanting to get out there and play them and explaining it to the kids. And you know, you want to go out there and do it, but you have to explain it to them and articulate it to them so they can get it done. But see, I'm one-dimensional right now. I just know defense and offensive line. I want to get into, you know, being able to be an offensive coordinator or a defensive coordinator eventually.
While he hopes coaching is part of his future, in the present he'd like another shot at the NFL.
I worked out this spring with the 49ers and that fell through. So I want to either get into the World League or there's a United Football League that's starting. So I do want to play some more football. Last game I played in was the Hula Bowl. So, you know, I'm aching to play right now.
Woods was a big part of the Oregon defense that helped the team to bowl games in 1989 and 90. He was all Pac-10 his senior year and is 6th on the all-time sack list. That's not bad for a nose tackle who had to fight through double teams nearly every play. He also started a family dynasty of sorts at Oregon. His brother Lamont plays football and runs track. Sister Lorena runs and plays volleyball.
We draw our power from each other, you know, and you know, we want to leave our mark here.
There's no question that Woods left his mark on Oregon football and on Ty Detmer. For the Rich Brooks Show, I'm Walt Fox.
That was one of the most energized moments, I think, that I have seen in the last 15 years at Autzen State. That place just went bananas on that safety.
It did, and Marcus is right. He did hit him with a forearm.
But it sounds better for folklore being the belly bump, doesn't it? You know, it's also nice to see a guy like that. There are a number of a host of guys that have gone into coaching after playing for you here, and Marcus, nice to see him stay in the area and helping out not only on the field but off the field with some of these kids.
Well, he is. He's working over at Skipworth, doing some fine work with the troubled youth over there, and now is understanding what us coaches go through. I love that. He didn't realize how hard coaching was. Really, what everybody ought to be able to do is to coach a year after they play their freshman and sophomore year before playing their last 2 years. It should be a mandatory requirement that they coach a high school or youth football team, and then they would be a lot easier to coach when they came back.
A lot more receptive to criticism and instruction, that's for sure. Well, it's good to see Marcus still in the area, and great to see Lamont having success, and also Lorena as well, who's a school record holder in track. So pretty good family genes there. When we come back, we'll take a look at what is in store for the Ducks this week as they become the final team to play a conference game in the Pac-10. They travel down to Southern California to meet the Trojans.
Your live Pac-10 weekend just got twice as nice. The Quack Attack kicks off the first of 2 live back-to-back PSN Pac-10 showdowns when the Oregon Ducks take on the USC Trojans live at 3:30. Then the Beavers take over when they turn on the heat in the night as Oregon State challenges the Desert Swarm of the Arizona Wildcats live at 7. It's all live, all Oregon, and all Pac-10. Nowhere else but on PSN. Catch a double dose of Oregon action tomorrow at 3:30 Pacific. This season, everybody gets as much of the Huskies as they can handle because Washington takes on all comers for every play of every game on Prime Sports Northwest. Everybody wants in on this action, and it's all yours all season long on Prime Sports Northwest. The Huskies face the UCLA Bruins Sunday at 8 Pacific.
It's nice to know that one phone call.
Significant injuries, Herman O'Berry, I guess. Anybody else?
At this point, I don't think so. Ricky Whittle took a finger in the eye. We have some other, O'Neill tweaked an ankle. We have some other ankles and bruises and things, but right now I don't think any of them are significant. At least I hope so. And we know for sure that O'Berry will be out for this game, and we'll just hope that it won't be a prolonged period of time with that injury.
Let's keep our fingers crossed. Let's take a look at USC. This is a team that defeated Baylor late last night, so we don't have highlights of that game. But Rob Johnson is the guy you talk about first offensively, and they also are featuring the tailback once again.
Well, they are really trying to run the football more than they did a year ago. Although with a quarterback like Johnson, who has not only a very strong arm, but the ability to scramble, that kind of, I think, remains the strength of their offense. Their offensive line is better than Iowa's, which is, to me, the best line we've seen. They have Baselli, who's a candidate for All-American and all of the lineman awards in the nation. And their defense is very active and physical as well. So this will be a real challenge for us, particularly down in the Coliseum.
Yeah, the Trojans started their season with a conference game. They beat Washington. We've seen how good Washington is. They upset Miami at the Orange Bowl, so there's no slouches there. But this is a team that's 1-0. John Robinson last year, one of the tri-champions in the Pac-10 in his first year back. Give us his philosophy and what you've seen from his teams, and is it the same as it was when he was with Troy back in the 70s?
Well, he'd like for it to be more like that. He wants to run the football and establish the old SC student body right and student body left and the dominant running game that they used to have when he first coached there. They certainly did that in the game against Washington, I thought, and when they went back to Penn State, they struggled in doing that. But they came back against Baylor and ran the ball very, very well. They had a back goal for over 200 yards. I know it's been a while since they've done that. So I'm sure they're going to come out and try to run the ball right down our throat and mix in the passing of Johnson to go with that. So that challenge is significant. They're a very experienced football team. I think they returned 18 or 19 starters from last year's team, that we're a tri-champion, as you said. So this is a very good football team.
USC defensively, tell us about them and John and Robinson's philosophy there. They went junior college route to try to plug a few gaps here and there, and how are they doing in that area?
Well, I haven't had a chance to look at enough tape on them on the defensive side to formulate a real strong opinion yet. All I know is that they have athletes, they're physical, and they're doing different things than they used to. They're giving you more defensive looks, they're bringing more pressure. And they have a fine tradition of playing outstanding defense at USC, and I don't think this group's going to be any different.
Let's talk about your team, 2-2 after the non-conference portion. I think it's safe to say that your team has improved from week 1 to now week 4. Where do you see your team at right now?
Well, we're making progress, Todd. A lot of young players getting significant playing time. True freshmen, redshirt freshmen, sophomores make up the bulk of our playing time on the offensive and defensive side of the ball at this point. I really believe that we have made some progress. We still have a long way to go. And if we'll continue to work as a team as we did last week, we have a chance to be a good football team and have a chance to go down and play with USC and have an opportunity to win if we play the type of game we did this last week with a great effort, minimal mistakes on our part, and forcing our opponent to give us the ball in good field position.
Okay, we'll see what happens down there. Let's take a look at, first of all, the scores from this past week in the Pac-10. You can see Arizona continues to roll as they pound Stanford down on the farm, 34-10. The defense was sensational again as they really did a nice job. I think held Stanford to minimal rushing yardage, net rushing. Washington State, this is the surprise team, maybe not only the Pac-10, but in the country so far. They blank UCLA at the Rose Bowl. UCLA has only been shut out twice in about 250 games. So that's an impressive win for the Cougars. We'll see the Cougars in a couple of weeks in Pullman. Flip the page, you can see California gets its first win of the year as they defeat Arizona State 25-21. The Golden Bears had to come from behind late in that game to pull out the victory. And the big win for the Huskies in the Orange Bowl, that snaps Miami's 58-game winning streak, the longest in the history of college football. And the Huskies did it with big defensive plays and a big screen pass in that third quarter to turn that contest around. And then late last night, USC had the lead early and held on to defeat a pretty good Baylor team, 37-27. That game was played at the Coliseum. Let's take a look at the Pac-10 schedule for the upcoming week. The Dykes visit the Coliseum, Oregon State after a bye. We'll visit Desert Swarm down in Tucson. UCLA now got their backs kind of to the wall early as they have to go up to Seattle already with a conference loss. Washington State, a big non-conference game at Tennessee. San Jose State at Cal. And Stanford visits Notre Dame. Your thoughts about this last weekend in the conference? The conference got a couple of nice wins after suffering the week before.
Well, I think the Washington win in Miami has regained a little of the respect our conference lost a week ago. Washington obviously is an outstanding football team, and they have more weapons than Napoleon Kaufman since he only made 80 yards in that game. You can see that they have other things to go to. And as you mentioned, the real surprise team in the nation, not only our conference, is Washington State. They are for real. When you can go into the Rose Bowl and blank UCLA and dominate them, you've got some pretty good athletes, and they're playing outstanding football.
So, Coach, it was a great week for the Northwest. 3 for 3 in victories. That's nice to see. Take a little sting out of the week before, that's for sure. Well, this was a good week for the Ducks as they come away with that victory over Iowa. They now head into conference play. It ought to be interesting down the stretch. 8 more games. The first 2 conference games on the road. And, of course, the game against the Trojans will be a televised game, a regional basis on the Prime Network, 3:30 starting time on the Pacific Coast. And, of course, if you miss that game, something happens to your TV, we'll have all the highlights for you next week right here on the show. So for the coach, I'm Todd McKim. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you next week.